All right. Good evening, everyone. How are we doing today? How are we doing today? How's been your day? We're going further into our conversation. We've been having this conversation for over a week now, and today we have two great speakers in the house again. And yes, we are just going to have conversation about a very important topic. So today's conversation is one that hits at every heart of what we are building across Africa, not just serving customers, but truly understanding what customer success means or what success means in our own unique context. In our own unique context, not just what is shoved down our truth and all. So our topic for today is measuring customer success in Africa's unique context. A powerful and timely conversation we believe will spark not just ideas, right, but transformation. We are joined by two outstanding voices in the customer success space who bring not just experience, of course, but a deep understanding of local realities. I want to encourage everyone listening, whether you are a customer success professional, a startup founder, or just curious about the future of tech in Africa, you can just lean into the conversation today. My name is Gloria Michael, the founder and the convener of this program, The Reality of Customer Success in Africa. And joined in the house today, I have Ajoke. She'll quickly introduce herself, then we'll move to the next speaker for today.
All right. Hi. Good evening, everyone. My name is Joke Yusuf. First of all, I want to say thank you so much, Gloria, for the opportunity to be here and for the amazing work you're doing. Like you already know, I'm a great fan, and I feel like you're building something amazing for we literally struggled our ways, but having this platform to give people a guide, it's nothing short of amazing. Just go straight into it. My name is Ajoke Yusuf. I pride to call myself a customer success enthusiast. And this is because I tell people the best place to start your career is in customer care, customer service, right? Because you can do anything. And over time, I have moved from, so I started my career way back in 2010 in Nine Mobile. So I've had opportunity to function in different customer interfacing role, which is onboarding, retention, loyalty, customer experience, and all that. I started my career. I've been able to go to different sectors, spanning from the banking, the fintech, the telecommunication, agri tech. I've also done hospitalities. I've also done transportation and profit. Currently, I um, am a current CRO of my own company, Zuri Circle. Zuri Circle is a place where we encourage women in leadership, right? And this is as a result of my background in customer experience, understanding how to keep customers and customers, both internal and external customer. So yeah, that's a brief of myself. And like I said, I'm a customer support enthusiast. So anything that is customer success, I believe every business is set up to make success. Every business needs a customer support or customer success enthusiast. So yeah, that's where I come in. So really, really great to be here and to share this chat with everyone here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us in this conversation we are having. I know that today what we are talking about, you are really like the best person for us to have on this in this place today. So good to have you here, and amazing work you're doing with Zuri Circle. I saw what you're doing on Instagram and it has been amazing. I saw the whole thing and I really, really love the amazing work you're putting in. Please keep it up, and yes, and hopefully we'll get to join you to uplift women as well, because we can't do enough of that. Everything is working against women, every single thing, like from society, from everything you want to think about, right? But then with what you're doing, we know that the future of female women empowerment is secured. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
And the second speaker we have, guest speaker we have today is Obed. Obed, are you here? Can you hear me?
Hello, Gloria. Yes, I'm right here and I can hear you.
Okay, please go ahead and introduce yourself. Let's meet you.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Obed Otri. I basically grew up in Accra and I'm currently the CX manager for a UK to Ghana shipping company. And I have over 7 years of experience in the field, telco to the shipping industry. I like to see myself as an unfinished product because day in, day out, I like learning. I like reading books to become better as an individual. And so books like A No Nonsense Guide by Hot Schulze, I'm sure some
Mm-hmm.
of us would be would be able to tell what kind of book that is. It was written by Hot Shots. He is incredibly passionate about customer experience. And then also I am highly passionate about this, and that's why I'm here today to share, to learn, to engage. And so thank you so much, Gloria, for putting this together. And Ajoki, I'm looking forward to learning from you as well. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, and good to have you here. Good to have you. We want to hear not just the Nigeria. So this is about Africa, right? That is why you are actually supposed to be. You're supposed to be here. Yeah, it's just good that you are here to have context in the African reality. What is it? How is it affecting you wherever you are? Right. So we are just going to have like a robust conversation today. And thank you everyone for joining us. Some people have been here since the first day, like Tolu, Olajumoke has been here. Udwa, good to see you. You're doing amazing work on on LinkedIn, and Fortune, good to have you here. Please, as always, remember to ask your questions in the chat. And if you want to, if you have the, if it time permits you and you want to like ask question live, you can also raise your hand and I get to call you as we go along. So let's go dive into what we have for today. So like I mentioned earlier, we're talking about how do we measure success in the African context? And the goal for this session is just for us to like maybe challenge imported frameworks because there are things that are not working for us here. But since we have them as metrics, we are just like sticking to them. So to reframe success metrics for African customer professionals. So we're going to probably challenge some of the things you know, and also recognizing non-traditional success indicators, offering actionable measurements strategies. What are the things you can do aside from the other standardized methods, right? And also we're going to encourage you and share solutions or resources that you can use to like just make the best out of your career, right? So my first question is going to go to our Joker today. So when you hear the phrase customer success in Africa, what does that mean to you beyond what we've read in the global space? What does that mean to you?
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much, Gloria. Well, customer success, again, like I said, maybe we started customer care, customer success when the term customer success wasn't really common in this side of Nigeria. Since we're talking Africa, maybe because I have my um, other speaker here is Ghana. So let me give a bit of Nigerian content, right? And so for me, I think that we started as customer care, right? That's what we knew what it was. Obviously, curiosity got us to understand what success is. And so customer success in Africa isn't about how often a customer uses an app, right? Because again, we are talking about the reality. It's
Yeah.
about what exactly or what they now believe is possible because of your product. So again, like I said, do not forget that customer success, maybe it was not common here. Now we are translating it to what it is, and we are now taking its content more like having a playbook being communicated. But the real success in Africa, like I said, it isn't about the measure of the app or the technology, but it's about how possible what you now make somebody feels is possible because of using your app. It's about you unlocking maybe someone a trust that success. So it's about a product being unlocked, or dignity, or trust, or even income that the person is able to generate. That for me is success, right? And I would like to say again that usually in Nigeria here, customer success again, it's I think that our watchword trust is our infrastructure, right? Trust is our infrastructure. What do I mean by that? Again, um, in Africa, um, WhatsApp, a simple WhatsApp chat, or in local context, or how you need to communicate, or the relationship you build with these people are actually the key that actually drive value. Again, this is me rounding up to say the future is here, no doubt, in terms of we have AI, automations, and all that. Like Gibson will say that the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. So what am I trying to say here? There is success. There are different things that apply to other places that is not applied to this place. So for us, it's about how does the people feel. People using your product, how do they feel, or how did you make them feel is possible? That is what customer success is for me.
Thank you so much. Yes. I jotted some things you mentioned down. Relationship is about relation for us in Africa, Nigeria. Before now, we don't know it as customer success. It's all service and all that, relationship management, and that's what we used to call it. And for us, it's so important for an African or a Nigerian that relationship. It's all about relation. Some people, no matter how good your product is or the service you offer, if that relationship is affected, Nigerians will not do business with you, right? So, that's why we're having this conversation so that when you are trying to work with, especially around here, you you don't it's not really about. That's why sometimes there are things you can't teach, there are things you experience yourself. So it's relationship first. You also mentioned trust. Those things are important. Customers don't care about your metrics and all those things. Onboarding frameworks, that's English. At the end of the day, do they trust you? Are they feeling safe with you? You also mentioned feeling here, so that is so important. Thank you so much for defining that for us, for spelling it out the way you did. And Obed, do you want to say something about that? I really want to hear what you think about that definition. How do you define customer success in the African market beyond the Western framework we know of?
Yeah, I think I agree with Ajoke, because if customers don't trust you, they wouldn't come back to do business with you. And so for me, okay, I'm into the delivery more like company, UK to Ghana shipping company. So let me tailor my views based on that. So for me, success means that we delivering packages to customers here in Ghana on time without any confusion. Success also means that the customer will come back to us again, and then this time around, not coming back alone, but recommending a cousin or a friend. That is success. And then also when a customer posts the way we treated them on their Instagram page or maybe their WhatsApp status that, oh, this company, even though it's a Ghanaian company, they didn't stress me at all shipping from UK to Ghana. And when they tag our company, that is a win for us. That is success for us. Now let us bring it home to the 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 seller by the roadside. I'm sure in Ghana, you know that there are sellers by the roadside in Nigeria too. And some of them sell jollof, they sell wache. And by the way, Ghanaian jollof is been confirmed that Ghanaian jollof is the best. So we are not going to go
We
into
are not going to have the
Mhm.
argument today.
Yeah.
we are not going to go into that debate. But anyway, so just imagine this jollof seller by the roadside. Customers are coming to her because her food is great. Customers are coming to her because she smiles to these customers. Customers
Mm,
are coming to her because she knows the customers by name and calls them by it. Customers are coming back to her because she serves them quickly. That's timeliness. Now, that's watches seller or that jollof seller. Remember, she has no Wi-Fi, she has no CRM system, she has no metric like NPS or stuff like that that you are going to measure. But that to me is success. So these
mm,
are my 2 cents worth, please.
Thank you so much for putting it that way. The culmination of the customer's experience, the totality of the customer, how you make them feel, how you serve them. Is the food delicious? Is it the right quantity? All those things. is what is customer success or customer success. Thank you so much for that. Please, you can, if you want to ask any question, you can do that in the chat, or you can just raise your hand and I will call on you. We're not going to argue about Ghana jollof or Nigerian jollof, but then we're going to probably do a poll later to see the one that is better or best. Since, yeah, of course we know Nigerian, so I mean, let's not go there. But then all right. So I'm loving this conversation already, right? So if we are to measure, what metrics should we be looking at? So what are the top three metrics you believe should actually matter in the local businesses that probably don't follow the Silicon Valley kind of what is it called, metrics? Because everybody says NRL, and in the Nigerian context, I don't think NRL should even be there, right? But then, what metrics actually reflect success in local businesses that may not fit global standard or this the SaaS models? That is for Joke.
All
Then I
right,
want you.
thank you. Again, just like my Obed have mentioned, I love to read a lot of book, and maybe in all answering almost all the questions, I'm probably going to be referring to a book or something that I've read, right? And according to Williams Bruce Cameron, he said something. He said, "Not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything
Mm,
that counts can be counted." Right? And again, just like you said, we are not going to, yes, we picked it up, just like again the colonial era where you pick up some things, right? And then you just want to play it, right? It does not work that way, right? What really matters, you have to understand that success requires you to understand where you are and how to apply it. Rightfully said, the metrics such as the daily active user and NRR, for me, I jotted down 3 points for me, right? That makes, for me, it's about how are you improving cash flow, how are you saving time for people, and how you helping them have access to the service they feel excluded from. That, I believe, is a real signal of success, right? How is a micro business using simple tools reducing the manual work he has to do or access credit is far more important metrics than we are counting MMR, right? In as
mm,
much as I understand we need to make money in this market, right? The profit starts when, first of all, you are giving value, trust, and relevance, not just
mm,
volume. It's not about how many times this person is using this app or something. It's basically about, because again, we just fall around, oh, we are build measuring how frequently these people have. I'm going to use maybe like a typical example of where I've worked before. How many because we used to always, how many numbers of download. Sorry, what we yeah, sorry. Can you hear me
all right.
now?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Sorry, I guess the when I said no, it's outside. All right. So for me, I like I said, it's what is important, what is actually important, and for me, the first point I want to talk about is impact. Right. Focus on impact because impact drives loyalty, and loyalty drives revenue. When your
Mm,
product creates real value, it saves time, right? You're able to, like, it's even had is way better than when it is about, okay, how many people have done that, right? And guess what, once you have built impact, trust me, word of mouth marketing or word of mouth growth is definitely great. So take for instance, I worked in a the food business, that's Eden Life, right? And while I was in that
yeah.
company, um, for us it was about it, because the truth is there are times that churn and unavailability, infrastructure challenges in in this side of country, right, affects people, right? And then this particular day, this lady was using the app, and because what we usually do was to sell food to businesses, right? To businesses, like a corporate launch kind of package. And this particular lady, just because we were not focused on, in quotes, number of stores, so we observed that she wasn't kind of subscribing again, and we reached out to her, like trying to keep in touch with this lady, and we discovered that, oh, she lost her job and stuff like that, right? Well,
Oh.
after that, we were still keeping in touch with this customer, because again, for us, it's not about, yes, you're no longer using our service, so you're not relevant, right? We know that this particular person was building it, right? And then at the end of the day, it stopped. So what we did was to communicate. One good thing that we did was, when we heard about a job offer, we sent her a link to say, oh, this there's an opening in this organization. And she was wowed. She was like, wow, I'm not using your service, I'm not doing this, right? How do you concentrate in not focusing on the ones you have, and you're also having plans for those that have churned, right? That's very thoughtful. At the first time she got a job, she came back and renewed, and then she went to Twitter, she posted about it and said, so for us, we're not just counting or focusing on the number of uploaded or active,
Mm.
but building real relationship across board impact. How we impacting everybody that has come across the business. The second thing I'm also going to talk about is alternate, like um metrics still leads to alternate. So measuring things like, how are we saving time for this particular person? How are we making, okay, another example I'll give is laundry business, for instance, right? I think Eden was also doing laundry business. How everybody, there are people that does laundry, so the question is, what exactly do we want to track, just what we want to measure, right? We're saying, how fast can we get your laundry to you to the closest time, right? So we were tracking those stuff like that, and trust me, these metrics that we track were actually, it's not giving us immediate returns, but in the long run, it's actually building steady growth and not just quick wins, right? So for us, it
Mm.
was about, how do we create situations or create things that will lead to consistent or longer term growth, just that, rather than tracking the usual metrics. And then the final one is, success without payment isn't charity, it's a pipeline. What do I mean by that? If someone benefits from your product but doesn't pay today, doesn't mean that, okay, not every time you expect that someone will pay, but you're building a pipeline. They might actually influence others that will pay or return a paying customers eventually, because over time, it's like, when you are able to connect with this customer, right? Even if the person cannot afford, depending on the metrics or the what you are able to connect this person, actually it will help you build a longer pipeline, either when the person gets the money is coming back to you, or it helps you go viral and build network. So those are the viewpoints that I have to talk about, basic metrics to measure, and not the NRR or the DAU and all that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for shedding so much light on that. Yes, and I totally agree with everything you said. When once you start, and that's the challenge of, like, there was a point you mentioned about the customer that wasn't coming, and you guys had to like do something about it. That is a challenge of segmentation. When you put your customers into buckets, at the end of the day, you don't know, they want, maybe that low ticket customer that you think you're now doing bulk SMS to, or you're doing low touch. When you in customer success, you have high touch and low touch. Low touch are those ones that you can just do broadcast messages and all. You don't just send them like that. But the
You don't
high
rate
ticket,
them.
yes, you don't reach them because you think they are not going. And that is where we are going to miss it when it comes to segmentation, because that low ticket offer, or that person that probably you think is not bringing in value, if you treat them right, if you nurture them well, that is what you did in your case. They are going to come back to you in folds, maybe not 100, not 1,000, but then maybe not even them buying, but maybe they'll refer you to their customers, their friends, and all. And that's the cycle of business, right? So as a CSM, I don't think there's really a perfect metrics. But then with what you have said, I believe everybody will go home with a lot of things to work on. It's all about impact first. It's all about your customers as well, saving time for your customers. Your customers are not coming to you, like I said, because they want to help you. They want you to measure your NRR, NPS, and all those things. Those are your internal whatever. But then how do you help them save time? How do you and success shouldn't also be measured by oh, he brought in 1 million, 2 million, 5 billion, and all that. Sometimes you're building pipeline, like she said. So those are really profound. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Like I said, if you have questions, if you want anything to be discussed here, please, you can ask in the chat, or you can just raise your hand using the emoji and I'll call you. So let's just go further. We have a lot of people here that want to transition into customer success. So I'll quickly talk to Obed. Obed, are you here?
Yes, I'm with you, please.
Okay, awesome. So I want you to like walk us through your journey, your customer experience journey. How has it been? Was it a straight line for you? What was it like? What was it like? So maybe one or two people can just learn from your journey and how you were able to like build on what you currently have.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for the question. Well, my a fairly interesting one because I started off as a graduate trainee. I don't know if we have you guys have the same thing in Nigeria, but we have yeah that and the pay wasn't nothing to write home about. It was just something small. And I think who was it? There was another guy who on the platform, I've forgotten his name. He had this um glasses on. He also mentioned the fact that he started off with very little pay. So yeah, I could relate very much with his experience. And it was in a telco. And so how should I even say it? I was under people, they were training me here and there. And later I transitioned to um, the shipping company where I was just a customer service rep. And then while I was there, I was becoming better. Like I said, I always see myself as an finished product. So I took LinkedIn courses, I read books, and well, God being so good, we are here. We are here. So basically that was it. It wasn't easy, but I mean you show up every time and then you grow on the job. You network with, people that would spur you on to become better at your craft, and then yeah, should I say the rest is history?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. So, in your experience, would you say for someone starting out, will you recommend them to get certification first or get their foot in the door, then try to build on that? Experience over certification or certification over experience? What do you say?
Gloria, could you kindly say that again, please?
Okay, so I was asking, in your experience, what do you think is better having, like for someone that is starting out afresh, will you advise the person should start certification, getting certificates from various organizations first, then get their foot into the like in the door, getting jobs and all, or do you advise them like, oh, get the experience first? Certifications are things you can get along the way.
Well, well, everybody has their own journey.
Yeah.
I didn't start off with the certification. I first landed a role because I was fresh from the university, and then as I was going, I built myself along the way. Um, and so if you want, you can start off like that. But I mean, if you don't have any experience at all, it will be very good for you to have some sort of foundation before you more like delve into that. And and it's good to associate with like-minded people. So I'm sure in Nigeria you have various communities that champion customer experience related issues. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it wouldn't be bad to sign up to those. So everybody and their journey. Yeah, that's what I have to say.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to ask Ajoke a question, then we'll come over to you again. All right. So, how should African startups approach customer success measurement when they lack data? Well, of course, we lack data, we lack tools, and sometimes advanced analytics, right? So you can't tell. a fintech or a SaaS business that is starting up to probably buy or subscribe to gay site or hotspot, because that will kill their, that is not cost effective when it comes to that. So what will you say are the alternative, or what should somebody do, especially for founders and business owners?
All right, amazing question. All right, again, so sometimes when you say these things, I've been, like I said, I've been opportune to be in most of the organizations I've worked is their 1 to 2 years, so it's been their early stage, right? So even in
Mm,
Etisalat, now Nine Mobile, when we started, they were just 1 year plus. We're the first customer support agent that was recruited as at that year when they came to Nigeria. But
mm,
what I would say basically is that according to this book, we've read a lot. I've read a lot of books, right, around alignment. I think there was one amazing book, and I would advise every startup founder to read that. Is the story of Amazon, which is working backward. Very amazing book. So in this other book, James
yeah.
Clear said something. For African startup, the lack of fancy dashboard, I wrote it somewhere. The lack of fancy dashboard is not necessarily a barrier, right? It's an opportunity for you.
Mm,
It's an opportunity to start. So you don't have to start heavy, start light, start with high impact systems, right? Like I mentioned, the story of
mm,
Amazon, which is working backward, break down the different way where they started, how they decided, how they built, they were able to eventually build the CS guide. So I'm going to say for a startup, what I'll first of all say, like I mentioned, start small, right? Consistency beats complexity. You don't have to
mm,
have the flashy dashboard and stuff. And I'll give an example. Again, when I joined Eden, for instance, right? Or let me even use Etisalat because why I'm using more of Eden, it's because they are more of a tech, like unlike Etisalat, they had a bit of infrastructure because they already existed in what they
yeah.
call it. So when we started CS and after Etisalat, I've been able to help businesses to set up their call center. And then you hear someone saying that I want to start up a call center for my business. And it's always very scary. And I tell them, oh, you want to start a customer care customer call center for 50 people. I'm like, okay, what do you do? What's the number of your business? How often do you have this, right? And then we end up saying you don't need to set a 50 call center sitters, right? You can start as having two phone calls. Thanks to CUG then,
Mm,
CUG line, where you could have similar numbers, you have three people set up and start the call. Start with a phone number. You don't have to have the infrastructure in quote to say, okay, welcome to this, you're
mm,
about to be connected, please place on hold and all that. That does not have to come in. Like I said, consistency
yeah.
beats complexity. Let it be as simple as ABCD. The idea for you, again, bringing it back to success, is how are you able to impact or touch life, right? It's not about the tools, it's about the discipline. How consistent are you in using the phone call? How consistent are you with using the Excel sheet when you call? How consistent are you be able to track the usage? Okay, this person has bought, how many times has he bought? How are you telling the person thank you? I think you've made a post today around someone sending you every time you buy, send you a write up. That was impact, right? So it doesn't have to be,
Yeah.
oh, I have to do this yet. I have to, oh, I want to give it a greeting card. I want to put a perfume. It's as simple as writing a thank you, right? And then the second thing I will
Absolutely.
say is stories are data too, right? You need stories. So, for instance, like I said, you use the tools. The next thing is stories are data. In Africa, a customer voice notes. You can just your app can help me avoid the loss this week, or is it like your app helping me to avoid? It's a gold for me, right? The feedback you get from your customers. Startups should actually track stories. These are what stage profound, like, because it's people that actually say or sell your business more, and word of mouth, people that have actually touched. And then finally, measure what move trust and revenue. So you can decide to say, I don't want to have a big metrics. I want to focus on just few things, right? What are the two, three signals that matters? For me, I think the first three things I would advise any startup person should be: one, referral; repeat usage, and consistent payments, right? And reward outcome. That is what it is. So these particular indicators are very important to solving real life problem, and that will lead to not just loyalty, but will also lead to growth and revenue. So yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. Simplicity beats complexity every time. And you need to be able, as a customer success manager, whatever level you are to be able to ask the right question at every point in time. So
Exactly.
everything she has said, it's just about you. You just need to be able to like ask the right questions. So Eve is, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? What should we be tracking? Why should we be tracking this? What is important to the organization? So you can't be tracking what, because I see most people tracking what doesn't even matter because they see other people doing it. And that's not the way to drive growth or to build business in the long run. So as a CSM, you should be able to ask your organization, why are they, maybe you joined as a new member and they're using like tons of metrics. You should be
Yeah.
able to ask them, why are we using it? What is the bottom line? How does it impact our growth? How does it impact our revenue?
Yeah, we.
Two
Yeah.
things. Yes, it's so important that we are able to do that, right? So thank you so much for mentioning that. All right. If you have a question, please don't hesitate to ask in the chat. We have the best hand today in the group. So please ask your question. Don't come and ask me later, please. All right. My next question will be for Obed. I'm not sure he's okay. He's here already. What are some overlooked signs that a customer is succeeding? Sometimes, especially for us as customer success managers, right? There are so many things you do and you probably think does not have impact, but at the end of the day, that's why they are coming, right? So what are some of the overlooked signs that a customer is succeeding, even if it's traditional data or if other things say otherwise? What are they? Do you have anyone's in mind?
Yes,
Obed, are
Gloria.
you here?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Should
Please,
I come again?
am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Do you want me to repeat the
Okay, thank
question?
you. No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay,
Okay,
awesome.
so basically there are a number of things we can look at. So one has to do with how many more like customers came back to buy again after the first purchase. Uh-huh.
Hmm. Hmm.
One. And then we can also look at whether that customer that came to buy, did he tell a friend or did he recommend a friend to come by? And then
Hmm.
these certain things we overlook, but I mean when we pay attention to it, it can translate into something big. And then also, how long did it take for the customers to be served? That's about timeliness, and that's one of the things that were captured in the book Excellence Win, a no nonsense guide to in a world of non-comprom in a world of compromise. So it mentioned that timeliness is highly important. So that's the next thing. And so those are my points. How many customers came back to buy again, and whether they recommended somebody to come and buy from you, how long it took. That's very customer and those example to Kumasi. Kumasi is the next big town in Ghana. It's one of the cities here in Ghana. Imagine a mechanic in Kumasi, just by the roadside. That mechanic doesn't have any modern tools to work with, but this mechanic is able to explain things well to customers when they come to their shop. He's able to fix
Hmm.
their cars on time. That's timeliness. He's able to charge fairly. He is able to mention customers by name. That's personalization. And because of that, customers trust him. Customers tell others about his services, and so they return, they recommend other people. So you can see
Hmm.
some of the metrics mentioned initially being displayed over here, because customers come back, customers told others about them, and it doesn't take long for the mechanic to fix their issues. And so these are some of the points I would want to bring to bear.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. It's so important how fast we are able to, that is in what's in fintech is more of a customer or first response time or first reply time. How fast were you able to attend to the customer? Did the customer wait forever before he or she was attended to? So those are like really important. And I from what you have just said using that example, yeah, tools are very important, but then don't focus on tools. No matter what you are, no matter where you are on your journey, tools are great, and it's good that you understand the like how to operate or use tools, CRM tools and all. But then that is not all there is to customer success. Customer, what really matters to your customers? Do they come back? Do they recommend other people, and whether what is their experience? The overall customer experience also matters. It's not tools just are more like just helping you get the work done. They are not that is not the main work, right? That's not how the customer, you can have all the tools in the world and your customer experience is still trash, right? Yeah, I think that word is not bad to use. Yeah, it's not good. Like you see how, and that's why the best customer success people are not the ones with the best of tools. We've done that before when we used to do customer service, like real customer service, where there are days I will attend to like over 25 walk-in customers, then I have to do calls and all. You still have to do that, right? And then we have minimal tools or more like rudimentary tools, right? So don't focus on tools, wherever you are on your journey, don't focus on tools, all right? So let's go further. Let's go further into what we have for today. We're still talking about um Achaka, do you want to add anything before I ask you my next question?
Yeah, I think he has literally tried to take it up. I think the only last thing I'm going to add is a customer who sticks to you during economic hardship, right? Even if usage dip, it shows true loyalty, right? It is actually something that we often overlook. Like these are some of things we often overlook. Aside maybe the timing and other things, they are because sometimes you have issues with your product, right? Case in points. You are consistently delivering a particular, let's say you're delivering food. Again, I'm going to use probably all or let me even use trips while I was a country manager in trips, where we have to do hail drive riding. We pick employees from their location. And then obviously because of African factors, infrastructure for scarcity, right? You're not able to do that. This customer still sticks and they make excuses for you. Those are actually metrics or things we tend to overlook, but they are actually true meaning of showing loyalty and being consistent as to when you're delivering your service.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for adding that. Obed, I saw your hand up. Do you want to add
Yeah,
something?
yes, yes.
Okay.
Actually, what Ajoke said just sparked something in me. You know, there are certain times that when you serve a customer really well, the customer calls back to just say thank you,
Hmm.
or the customer calls back just to say that, oh, can I speak to Ajoke, or may I speak to Gloria again? That customer does not want to speak to anybody else but you. Why? Because
Yeah.
you rendered how should I say, exceptional or superior experience to the customer. And so these are metrics we don't measure, but
Hmm.
I mean, if we are to measure, we can see how it translates into our growth as businesses.
Absolutely. Yes, yeah, I totally agree with you on that. Yes, and that is why I think for the longest we're not able to measure customer success or customer service or customer experience, especially for those of us that started very early, because all we are doing is building relationship with the customer, making sure that they're okay, they are taken care of, they come back and all. But then we're not able to, if you were there around maybe 2010 down to 2015, anything, if anything like if a company is going down, the first department they are going to cut is customer service, customer experience, customer success, because they didn't know, or there were no standardized way to measure the impact. And after some time, when such organization, maybe they lay off like 5, 10 people from the customer service department, you now start seeing the effect of that on the whole revenue. They're not like, oh, this is what it is, right? So sometimes not everything that can be counted, not everything that
That can be
can be
counted
counted
counts.
counts. Yes. Yes, that is
And
what
not
I got. That
everything
is
that
what I got
counts
from
counted. Yeah.
what you said earlier. Yes, there are some things we do, it's as if it doesn't matter, right? But then they actually counts and add to the bottom lines. You may not be able to physically say, oh, this is it. But then in the long run, you see the impacts. You may not be able to count it like, oh, this. And that is why sometimes it will be as if sales are the ones doing the whole work. But behind is customer success, it's customer service and customer experience, right? So, yes, you as a CSM, try to, as much as possible, know your value, know the impact you bring to the organization, and also try to understand the bottom lines. What does success mean to the management, and what success mean, because you can be doing a lot of work, and at the end of the day you won't be able to like impress or get promoted because you're not aligning your value to the overall organization. All right, so I'll ask a question to Ajoke. A question goes to Ajoke, then we'll go to the chat. So when joining an organization, maybe as a CSM and you're new, what should it be like? Where should you start? Let's say you employ me today as your customer success manager or associate or an intern. Where should I start? What should I do as a CSM?
All right. As a CSM, that's customer success manager, correct? All right.
Yes,
I
please.
think that the first thing for you to do when you're employed, either, okay, I'm saying CSM because you're experienced, right? The first thing is to understand first of all, what's the business about? Because product knowledge is very
Mm,
key, right? Because
yeah.
for me, I always start with that because I've had experience to have opportunity to work across various industries, and I have clearly understand that success is the same across board, but just tweaked to suit that particular product. So the first thing is, what do they do? I tell
Mm,
people even by joke to say there's no way I will be employed in a crypto company. Yes, it's success, but that is something I don't understand, or better still, I just feel like it's not it's too much of explanation to customer, and because I'm so passionate, I don't know how I want to explain to you. You are putting your money and you lose it. It's the volatile place, right? So I always will not do that, but again, maybe I'll try it. But yeah, I think the first thing is to understand the product, right? Sometimes we
yeah.
just get, I want a job, and you're applying for any customer support role. First of all, understand what this product is about, and if it's something that is
Mm,
sellable and is actually something that solves customers' problems. Second, understand where you are, where the business is at. Where is this business at, in the sense that
yeah.
because you're a customer support manager, and I say this again, you have, while I was starting my career, there was something that early stage my manager mentioned to me. He said, once you're in a success, see every other person as, I'm sorry to use this analogy, but see everybody as you are a step higher than every other person. What does that mean? Is that you know the customer. A customer that is calling to ask does not know. Do you understand? So there's nothing like a foolish
Yeah.
question. Every question is valid. So you have to understand that the reason why this person is asking is because of knowledge. So for me, the next step is, where are we in this business? And once you know where we are, then you can now come in with whatever experience. Because again, in most interviews you hear us say, I'm coming with my experience, to why should I employ you? Like, I'm bringing my skill on board, right? Your skill, sometimes with your skill, some business can make you feel like you are just starting. So you also need to understand where the business is at, then you can advise it to expertise. There are stages where you have to build, there are stages where they are already built, is scaling. Do you understand? At that point, you'll be able to
Mm,
tailor whatever it is that aligns to the customer. You also need, and the third thing is, understand what customers about, because most of the time, I think one thing I always do, even in the fact that I'm in leadership level, once I enter a business, I want to go down, because over time, results are being made, or decisions are being made from top down instead of from up top, from
mm,
down to top. You are building for
yeah.
customers, you need to understand. So first, interact with the people, interact with the customer that have been there, understanding it, understand the staff as well, since you're a manager, right? Understand the people that are there, and get to understand, you, of course, you have what you want to bring on board, but that understanding those what is already available and bringing your skill to helps like a balance and also help adoption. It means that you also help acceptance with your new colleagues, right? Again, it is always
Mm,
a very hard one to join a company now. This manager is coming to come and manage us, and stuff like that. But you go with the as like as a manager in CSM that understand customer both internal and external. You have to be very emotionally intelligent to understand that the change is always a disruptive thing. So having to bring their inputs, take feedback, and also bring your skills will I think those are the 3 or 4 things I think is very important. Know the business, know where the stage at with the business is at. Try to reach out to the customer to understand what they are, understand the team and the structures available, right? And work with the team members
mm.
to be able to build something that does not just apply to the customer, but also apply to true success, sustainability, and growth for the business.
Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Yes, yes, yes. And I love the fact that all the things you mentioned, you didn't mention, oh, learn how to use this tool, that tool, and all. Those ones are just the easier part of things. Everybody can learn anything, but these are the core things you need to really understand. Tools will come and go, but then you need to have EI. You need to understand your customers, both internal and external, because as a CSM, you are working with everybody. You need to know how to liaise with everybody. Either the CEO know how to like understand them and be able to table your request, because there are times where you want to make the changes and your maybe the immediate head will not want that, but then you should be able to work your ways around to like, oh, get things done as a CSM. That is your superpower. Don't just, if you follow the rules and regulation, your customers will probably be bitter at the end of the day. Know how to like solve problems for your customer, because you are not just there as an advocate for your business, you're also there to advocate for your customers, and that is so important. Okbed, your hand is up. Yes.
Yeah. I wanted to add a little to you learning from your customers.
Okay, please go
So,
ahead.
yeah, so it's good to engage with them because I mean you're in business to serve the customer. It's because of the customer, that's why you are there. And so for me, there are 3 things I look out for. One, I want to ask my customers what do they like about my service that I should
Mm,
continue. Second, what challenges do they have that they would want me to, or they would want me or the company to solve for them? And then finally, what, in their opinion, is success for them? And so when you're able to answer these questions, you would be able to know what to do to grow the company. And it's important to also speak to customers who are unhappy about your services or your product. There is a saying that an unhappy customer or dissatisfied customers are your greatest source of learning. And so when you speak to these people, you get to learn more from them to see how best you can become better as a company.
thank you so much for adding that. That's really profound. And as the CSM, learn to, when we say listen to customers, it's not just listening to their complaints. You're listening to their pain points. You're listening to what they like about your products. You're listening to, okay, you're listening to everything they are saying or the things they are not saying. Sometimes customers may not even say the thing they want to say, but then because you understand them, you're able to like decode and be able to like solve the problem or even make recommendations. Okay, in the chat, kindly help type in the chat the names of the books mentioned. Okay, Obed, you mentioned few books earlier. Please kindly mention, write it in the chat for them. I think I wrote one. I don't know where I wrote it, but I can't see that. Okay, thank you so much, Ajoke. All right. So we are gradually coming to the end of today's session. And my question for both as do we have any question apart from the books that you want recommendations for? Do we have any question in the chat? Victoria, Fortune, Precious, do we have any question? All right. Thank you for dropping the books in the chat. Thank you so much for that. So, in the absence of no questions or questions, Ajoke and Obed will give us their last word, and that will be, what will you tell your, I think we've actually dealt with that. So, just give us your last word. What will you tell anybody that attended this session today? So, Ajoke will go, then Obed. Ladies first. Wait, am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you, Vera, loud and clear.
Okay, Ajoke, we can hear you.
Oh, my bad. Can you hear me now?
Absolutely, yeah, we can hear you now.
All right. You say my final thoughts, right? I think
Yeah.
again, what this is about is clearly telling us that CS Africa should not just be, we should not just copy and paste the Silicon Valley playbook, right? It must be
Yes.
customer first,
Mm-hmm.
cultural grounded, and also business awareness, right?
Mm,
Ultimately, the most effective customer success team in Africa understands that success is not a dashboard number, right? It's not just, oh, how many numbers are here. It's about the ability of your solution to actually improve the life and livelihood of people. What do I mean by that? I want you to ask yourself this question. If I copy out my metrics or what I'm tracking and share with my customer, will their goal be aligned with what you have crafted, right?
mm,
If not, there's obviously a gap, right? Because again, like we rightfully said, we are tracking how effective or the number of times that a customer responds to an email, for instance. And I'm using this because over time, like I said, I've been opportune to work in different organizations, different capacity, not just customer support. I've done sales, right? Um, so I understand that there are things that are not cast in stone. So let's not copy
mm-hmm.
and paste, right? They have a reason why. And I'll give a typical example. Here in Nigeria, we have issues with emails, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How many times do we have emails? Even sometimes when you want to put your notification, I just don't know, right? It somehow escapes. So if you really want to be able to connect, right? It's either to look for a
Mm,
WhatsApp message and no, you can insist that no, they have to respond to me. We have to be engaged on the app. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like
absolutely.
that. This is why again I said understand that it is it's not copy and paste. Understand your culture. We in Nigeria, we like interaction, we like physical, we like touch, we like come to my office kind of conversation. The truth
Yeah.
is, outside the country, if you hear people talk in this era of Japa, you hear that when they go there, they are bored. People are entering depressions because they can't do that's because a white man don't need to see your face. They just want you to send an email, and we're communicating, and they're active. But it does not work here. So you need to
Absolutely.
understand your background, or rather the cultural thing, and then build things around that. Again, one, you need to also build your processes with the customer in mind. Don't just
Mm,
bring your metrics, work with them, understand how this is affecting their livelihood, and build it into your metrics. For instance, you're not tracking the number of downloads, rather you're tracking how impactful. Okay, so let's say a typical example is while I was working in trips, right? And you have to blog place book your ride, kind of book your seat or something if you're going and take it off. At a point in Nigeria, this service was working in somewhere that is not Nigeria. There's some African countries that had that infrastructure. They needed that whole stuff. And in Nigeria, we're insisting that no, you download the app. People that stay around Aja, there's no light for 1 week, and I couldn't charge my
yeah.
phone. You will not say, okay, I'm leaving you on the road and driving just because you did not pick the app. I already know this face,
Mm,
right? I know this is you work in this organization. You are not at risk to me. You are not at risk to my business. We pick them. And that's one thing that most of
mm,
our customers appreciate, that we didn't just put the app over the people. we actually put. So again, final thought for you is let your CS become not just a function, but listening pod, like listen story collector, collect real life stories and build systems that actually is rooted in your local that builds in local trust and accountability to real progress. I think that's my final words.
Fantastic, fantastic. That's a whole lot to even chew. Thank you so much for that, and just so profound. Obed, are you here, or I need to make sure you are here because of
Hello.
network? Okay, yes. What is your final thoughts? What would you like to share with us before we go today?
Okay, so thank you very much. I want to leave each and everyone with a thought. Okay, which one of us over here kind of came to this world knowing how to write already? None of us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were taught how to write as we were all, you know, very young in the
Mm-hmm.
classroom. The pencil was not perfect. Our letters were wobbly. We didn't even get it at first. But our teachers were kind. They stayed consistent, and now here we are, to the point that Gloria, you are here nicely holding, this fine um seminar or this fine program for us to learn from. Ajoke, you are also kind of here because of the patience, how should I say, attribute of your teacher back then. So in today's how should I say, today we are like those teachers. Okay, you and me, we are like that teacher. Customers may not get everything at first, but when we support them, when we are kind to them without shaming them, they succeed. Here in Africa, success is basically not about perfection, not about metrics and stuff like that, but it's about consistency, it's about being kind, it's about being patient to or with the customer. And so in whichever area you find yourself in, for me, I'm in the shipping industry. So whenever package arrives, or I mean, if you are also in a telco or wherever you find yourself in, let us remember that how we make our customers feel is incredibly important. And this is so true because success here can be measured in smile and not the various softwares that we have. I would also want to leave with a little story called Shorzy customers want three things. One is that they want the product to be defect free. Nobody wants to buy maybe a bottle of water with defect in it. They want the water when they want it, not in about maybe 20 years time. That's when you give them the water, or in about maybe 1 hour time. That's when you give the water. They want the water when they want it. Now, the final thing every customer wants, and this is very important, that is, you want service to you to be very nice to you. And that is what we call service. And so may we do all we can to do best rendering superior service in Africa. Someday, I'm highly confident would get there. So thank you very much for having me, and thank you all for joining in.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Ajoke. Thank you so much, Obe, for today. The conversation has been so educative, insightful, and really enlightening. I'm not even saying it because of not hype. This is like real conversation, and why we are having this conversation. Understand the African context. You are not running against why on the everything you do as a CSM, understand why you're doing it. It's not compulsory or necessary that you jump on using all the tools. Your customers are not there. The example we heard, we are not used to emails. If you send an email to my mom or any other person older than I am, they're not going to read that. They're not going to listen to that. They prefer you just call them and finish that conversation. Or at most, you WhatsApp, send a message through WhatsApp to them, and that is it. So you cannot say, oh, because they are doing all those things over there, you're now bringing that here. It's not going to work. So wherever you are, understand the concept on context, on that, understand the cultural and the socio-economic factors, then you'll be able to work and bring it home with the, don't just jump on trends, don't just jump on what is going on, right? So I think that we have all learned today. Have we learned today? I want to see emojis for my speakers today. I'm sure we are all living here with new definition of customer success, or what is success to our customers. And I know we are more confident to build what work for us in Africa by Africans. All right. Thank you so much for to our brilliant speakers. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't even thank you enough. And hopefully this will go out, let's say by before the Wednesday. And thank you everyone for joining the conversation today. Please connect with Ajoke on LinkedIn, connect with Obed on LinkedIn as well. Also make a post about what we have shared or what we have heard today. And we continue tomorrow. We are going to round it off tomorrow. And I think I mentioned earlier that somebody is going to win something. I think I mentioned something like that. So we'll do that tomorrow. Thank you again, everyone, and have an amazing, amazing evening. And thank you so much, Ajoke, for joining. Thank you, Obed, for
Thank
sharing your books
you.
with
Thank
us.
you. Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Gloria. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Obed. Thank you, Ajoke, again.
More than welcome. We are honored. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And yes, I forgot to mention, there's something I'm working on. I'm working on a project, and I really want to get your feedback on that, or more like a review. So is it okay I send it to you via email also?
Right away,
Sure.
please.
All
Sure.
right. Okay. Thank you so much. I'll do that.
All right. Well
All
done. Take
right.
care, everyone.
Thank you so
Bye.
much, Advocate. Thank you, Ube. Thank you, Gloria. I really
Thank
enjoyed the
you
section.
all. Thank you,
More
Thank
all.
than
you.
welcome.
Bye.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye. Thank you, Uduak. Thank you, Victoria. I didn't see your face today. Precious, how are you doing? Johnson Ajiri, how are you doing? I used to wonder, is Ajiri your name or the Johnson that is your name? I'm not so sure. Fortune,
Okay,
hope you
Ajay.
gain knowledge. Ajiri is your name.
Yeah, Ajay.
Oh, okay. That makes sense now. That totally makes sense. Thank you for joining us and have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Thank you, Gloria. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, good ladies. Bye. I think Jed is Jedediah. So have a wonderful evening and hopefully we see you tomorrow again. We round up tomorrow.
Yeah.